Yeah, I got constricted. Whatever. Hey, he's pretty tanky, boss. For now, at least with two people. I was ticking on him for this is so much damage a sec. What kind of gear? 780, 921 gloves, 916, pretty good. Okay, so a lot of people have builds for this already, and you can find a lot of stuff. You just type in ball lightning Diablo 4 most likely. So I just wanted to go over how to kind of make it hardcore viable. You don't have to use this same setup. It just is what I was using. So for abilities, see over here we got ball lightning going, ice armor, unstable currents, teleport, frost nova, and flame shield. Uh, Things that are kind of mandatory, I would stick with flame shield. Frost nova, teleport. These are really good for the sorcerer, and they work really good for this build too. So build's really mana intensive, and you're going to be using prodigies on the ring. So since you're going to be doing that, might as well have as many cooldowns as possible. We've got unstable currents as our ultimate, and we're not using a basic skill right now. You can use arc lash or something if you want. I'm just using ball lightning. I like to make my characters to just kind of use like one powerful ability and just kind of hop through the maps or hop through all the areas. For bossing, I use ice armor still, but it might even be more tanky in normal conditions, especially maps, to throw out the lightning spear. When you throw lightning spear out in front of you, it throws burn up on all the targets and allows you to get that burn debuff up on everything. So you start doing, first off, more damage right off the bat before you even hit with lightning ball, and you already have the defensive buffs up. So lightning spear is defensive and offensive. You can use ice blades as well. I see a lot of people doing that. For hardcore, this is just what I'm going to show you for now. So I'll go over the skill tree real quick. We're using firebolt because we have it enchanted. Just going for some basic passives here. We got the extra damage for our skills, more mana, and more resistances since they actually work this season. We take all of the defensive skills, and then as you decide to do different things, you can spec out of ice armor if you want to. I would always stick with flame shield, even in softcore. For hardcore, I go all the way down to shimmering flame shield. I like to get the health back. For teleport, shimmering teleport for the damage reduction. And for frost nova, depending on how much mana you're getting back in your builds, you can go for the mana per hit, or you can go for the apply vulnerable, whichever one you feel like. Down in the conjuration tree, if you're not going for one of the conjuration skills that we just went over, go ahead and do precision magic and get the defensive skills. They're very powerful. Just to go over what they do is precision magic is your lucky hit. This is going to be damage reduction when you haven't been hit. It actually stacks up pretty quick. Using a cooldown gives you 30% of your maximum life as barrier. One of the strongest defensive things in the game for the sorcerer. Mana shield. Every time you use 100 mana, you get damage reduction. You will always have this up in this build. You're always using about 100 mana. And aside from that, you got ball lightning, and you're always going to go wizard's ball lightning. It seems to be the strongest. You can go with mage's ball lightning if you want, but I really like wizard's ball. I like the crackling energy. And to synergize with crackling energy, static discharge and invigorating conduit. It's going to get you your mana back. Now, when you're mapping, clearing, and whatnot, go ahead and go shocking impact if you want. It does help, but just the damage we're doing is so hyper right now that we only needed this. Now, before you get your gears all settled, don't use Devouring Blaze right off the bat. I would just use Warmth. Spec over to Warmth. You're going to heal back to full while everything's burning, especially if you're having a hard time killing things. This is going to heal you while you're waiting for the things to die. Once you're strong enough, go ahead and get Devouring Blaze. Down here, I'd recommend immediately getting Electrocution. It gives you so much damage reduction, it's always going off. Once again, Unstable Currents. Every time you use a shock skill, random skill goes off. It's pretty cool. And the attack speed while it's active is the main reason why we have this. This is going to make our ball lightning tick very fast. And then the last skill, especially for hardcore, is going to be Veer's Mastery. I really like the damage reduction when you're close to things. I really like the damage when you're close to things as well. So, pretty nice. And like I said, there's those few modifications we can do. That's fine. Uh, they help in hardcore too. The only things you're not going to really ever change out is it seems that Firebolt enchantment and Flame Shield enchantment is the best feel for the build. You can change something like use Ball Lightning if you want. If you don't really need the damage reduction and things that are burning and whatnot, don't worry about Firebolt enchantment. But it's really nice what happens when things are burning. And if you're going to use a lot of elixirs of death, go ahead and take Flame Shield enchantment off while you're using those and try out some of the more DPS oriented things like the Ball Lightning one. Alright, so that's it for skills. Here's the gear real quick. I'll show you each piece of gear. So we just kind of got critical strike, close to enemies, damage to injured enemies. I think that damage to injured enemies, it's got a few pieces of my gear you'll see. It's more for bossing. I was doing bosses recently, so I kind of felt like it was a good idea. But you might want to do something like critical strike damage or lightning critical strike damage for this. I wouldn't really go, or damage to vulnerable. I wouldn't go for the damage to injured enemies on gear if you can. Anyway, this was a 920 dagger. It's the highest we found, so we're using that. On top of using the that dagger there, we got this offhand here. The legendary effect is just what was on it. I'm probably going to re-change that over to something like doing more damage when things have a barrier up. When I have a barrier up. There's the rings. There's the necklace. Helmets. Raiment of Infinite is pretty much mandatory in most builds, especially for mapping. Against bosses, go ahead and get a damage reduction chest. Damage reduction from burning, damage reduction from close, hit points, all armor or resist. That'll work just fine. Gloves, try to go for attack speed, critical strike, and a couple of damage stats if you can. Don't get the fireball like I have here. This is just because I was using fireballs as an enchant for a while. And on your legs, if you do not have Teobalts, go ahead and get damage reduction on your legs. It's a really good place to get damage reduction. So as you see, we got legendary for damage reduction from injured, which while burning would be better, from close, life, and intelligence. Intelligence is giving us resistances as well. And then for boots, I kind of like to go for the Teleport Nova with the movement speed. If you can get boots with resource cost reduction, that would be better. And that leads us to the stats that are important. The only stats that are important for this build, I think, is going to be cooldown reduction, mana cost reduction, and resource generation. To the point that I took this ring that's much worse than this one here, with the crit chance, crit strike, and crit strike damage, just because the resource generation has been so much better. So, once again, if you're going to do gear, you're really only looking for mana cost reduction, cooldown reduction, and resource generation. And the main places you're getting that on is your offhand, your necklace, your boots, which I don't have it on here right now, and then on your helmet. So go ahead and get cooldown reduction, mana cost reduction, and the build will feel great. Alright, not too much more to go over in this kind of build. Let's go ahead and show the vampiric powers. So through the whole season, you're going to go and do these vampiric areas over here. Where's one at? Right here. Randomly, while you're fighting enemies in here, you're going to get invaded by other vampires. It's kind of fun. Actually, it's one of my favorite things. It's even better than the Hell Tides. And then you can summon an elite pack right here. It's pretty cool. While you're doing these, you're usually getting your Whispering Tree done, so lots of XP going on. And you're going to be getting Potent Blood. Once you have enough Potent Blood, you just click this here. You get 3 options. you're going to slowly unlock the abilities with the blood, and then you're going to level up the abilities. And they all seem to only go to level 3 so far. I'm not sure if they're going to change how that works through the season, but I wish they did a little bit more with that. It kind of goes with their theme of, we understand what you guys want, but we're not really going to put it into the game for endgame just yet. And just wish that they would put everything in that would make it fun for endgame. Anyway, vampiric powers, really simple. I think that the best ones that you need are Ravenous. Attack speed is great for this. Metamorphosis. The Unstoppable and the Vampiric Curse that this puts up whenever you use an evade skill is amazing. I think that Anticipation is mandatory. Ultimate skill cooldown is amazing for this build. And that's it. So the next 2 abilities, you can do anything. You can decide to use Call Familiar, summon bats whenever you want. I've seen people do that. It looks really fun. Since I'm in hardcore, I just went with a really nice, simple setup. The 2 things that I like to use the most so far is Accursed Touch. Lucky Hit has a chance to inflict Vampiric Curse. And then when the souls fly out, they do just shit tons of damage. When the souls fly out, they do a lot of damage. Prey on the Weak and Undying are the 2 I like. So Undying is what I got so that I spec'd out of the fire burning damage healing me. And we went with Prey on the Weak because it increases our damage when things are vulnerable. And the big reason why was because it allows us to take a different Frost Nova effect if we feel like it. And we can apply Vulnerable with our Vampiric Curse, which we're always applying whenever we're doing our evade. So that's it for the Vampiric powers, our abilities, and for the gear. I just wanted to go over kind of the whole build setup we had here for hardcore. Wanted to go over a few of the things that we've done and showcase how the build works. Let's go ahead and show what it looks like playing the build. It's pretty great. So we'll just run out here into, we're in tier 4. Nightmare dungeons go just as well. Haven't really noticed much of a problem with nightmare dungeons. Not really any of the content. So, pretty much the play style is cast the ball lightning. Try to get your mana down a little bit because you're going to be gaining mana back for every cooldown you use. So as you go in, you're casting 1 ball lightning, teleporting in, using a full cooldown, and that's going to allow you to pretty much just keep your mana going the whole time. Every ball of lightning. What you see for elites, that's going to be health. Playstyle loop plays really well. So every time you do an evade dash, got all the vampire powers off on everything. Whenever there's a big group, teleport in. Barrier is going to give you your mana back really quickly. That'll be exactly what you do. You got your oh shit button here. Hardcore, you're not going to really use that very often. And you're even going to hold back on teleport every once in a while. That's also one of our unstoppables. Until you get the ability to just kind of pull down your dash. As you see, dash, no problems cooling down. Really fun play style, hyper damage, and really fun overall. Anyway, just wanted to go over that with everybody. We might try using a few different things. Might try using some kind of chain lightning build here, or a few different things just to get our mana back a little bit quicker. But so far, this has worked for hardcore. And like I said, only thing I'd really change out ever is ice armor, and switch that out for something like lightning spear. It actually puts the fire dot up on everything and makes you pretty tanky before having to
I cannot do that here.
Once you get Raiment of the Infinite, gameplay on a sorcerer changes a lot. So once Raymond of the Infinite's in your possession, you kind of change everything to how fast can I get in and teleport on everything and get a kill. So you'll change your gameplay up with a Raymond of the Infinite. Before then, it's more walk around, get your mana, grab the crackling, all the cracklings that you can, as much mana back as possible, and just keep on casting ball light. All right. You have a great day.